What's going on, everybody? You've got the card board coach here with your boy, Coach Co. And team, today we've got a very special guest on the podcast here today. We've got Mr. David Prince, aka Piece of the Game. How you doing today?
What up, Coach? Happy to be here, brother.
I mean, I guess you're not piece of the game, but you are. You're the backbone. You're the man behind the curtains of piece of the game.
That's what I like to say. I like to, I have a great team here. They help me with everything, but I like to pull the strings behind the curtain for sure.
I love it. So, for those of you who don't know, Piece of the Game is a prominent sports card shop. Where are you located?
We have two stores. The flagship location is in Wappinger Falls, New York, which is 70 miles north of Manhattan. And then our second store is in Binghamton, New York, which is about 2.5, 3 hours outside the city.
I have heard from multiple people that your shop might be one of the nicest shops in the country.
I appreciate that, brother. We put a lot of effort and blood, sweat, and tears into what we do here. I'd like to say one of the nicest shops. There's a lot of people that raise their game in the card collecting space, and we love them all. But definitely one of the nicest shops in the country. I love that.
So, talk to me a little bit. I mean, also, every booth I've seen you guys at, like the National, you guys always do it big. Talk to me a little bit about that strategy, right? Like, how did you decide that you're like, I'm going to create this unbelievable shop? Like, where did that come from?
So to go back a little bit, everybody through the pandemic and even before the pandemic, when this heated up really in 17, was allocation hungry, right? How do I get allocation? How do I get more? You only can get so much through a distributor, and you're spending millions of dollars and not guaranteed really anything, right? So as crazy as it sounded during the height of the pandemic, we decided that we needed to open up brick and mortar stores. And not only one, we wanted it to be multiple units, but we had to do one right first, right? And we figured that wasn't really enough to get allocation. And we had to do something that was so over the top or so obnoxious, so to speak, that people would pay attention. And that was never done before in the card space. And kind of that's what we did. We wanted a themed location that was a cool place to hang out and have an experience before experience was the cool tag word that everybody's was using.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a place to hang out and be the modern day collectible card store. I kind of got the vision from my wife and her friends. They'd go out, and whether it was makeup or a pocketbook or a high end thing, it would be an experience. They'd get champagne, they'd hang out. The lighting was fancy. They're having fun with their friends. They're hanging out. And I figured we need that same thing for sports cards and collectibles. And that's kind of where the vision came from.
Well, like especially, I mean, with the price of boxes continuing to increase, right? Like, I mean, and then that's not to say that like only because the prices have increased, like we need to make it more customer friendly. But like if someone's coming in and spending $600, $700 a box sometimes, like you want them to be like comfortable. You want this to be like to your point, it's like a luxury experience almost. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, modern day brands, coach. So like, I mean, when you go and shop for a BMW or any of these things, it's to feel welcome, it's to have fun, to enjoy what you're buying. And again, not to go back to experience, but that's what it is, to be showcased in the right way. Now, there's nothing wrong with all the shops we grew up with and loved. I just wanted to be different. I didn't want it to have a carpet on the ground. I didn't want it to be dirty. I wanted it to be organized and inventoried and people be able to find things and maximize their time. Nobody wants to have their time wasted because our time's so precious these days with
yeah,
family and whatever force we have. So
yeah.
that time when you come in my shop, I want it to be maximized. You're ripping your product, you're watching sports games. We have snacks and desserts and all kinds of stuff here.
What?
Yeah, we got a whole lounge in the back where you're chilling. And that's the object, right? The more people stay and hang out, the kind of deeper they collect and have fun with it.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're building like core memories at that point, right? Like, there's like, and like probably a good amount of people have met like real friends like at your shop.
Huge. I mean, it's really good. And like, we're really friendly with all our surrounding shops too. We share experiences, we share ideas, we often talk a lot. I mean, they're great points, man. It's a great community. And like I said, we give back a lot to the community. I think that's gigantic. We have the Yankees A season team right down the street from us, and everybody's like, "Oh, that's an amazing fit." No, it's not. And the amazing fit is my local little league. It's my local Cal Ripken league. I'd
Yeah.
rather give them that $15,000 and let them promote youth baseball and soccer and
Yeah.
rec sports to the area than give the renegade team a $15,000 check to put my name on the wall. So we
Yeah.
have a kind of different slant on what's important to us.
Yeah. I mean, well, I kind of want to talk about that, right? Like, because you donate, like, Piece of the Game donates a lot to these, I mean, uh, these programs, especially when it comes to like children and youth in sports. Like, I mean, you have kids, right?
I have three. I have two sons who help me run the business, a 14-year-old and a 12-year-old, and then I have a beautiful daughter who's 7.
Amazing. And so, is that part of, the underlying why you do what you do in terms of like supporting the children?
So I was always very deep into youth sports. I've been a coach for 25 years, of all ages, from men down to kids, and it's just lacking as travel and all these pay for play organizations continue to grow. There's less emphasis put on the local town league, and unfortunately, that's dying in America. And I just want to fight for it and give it a leg to stand on. So the everyday kid who parent doesn't want to spend 10 grand to play baseball can go and play. And I think the hobby needs that. I think sports leagues need that, and that's why it's so passionate to me. And what I found out is, through our research and just doing it, giving to those organizations means so much more than giving to some of these big name, organizations who don't really care. And then those people in turn support our business. I mean, we've had two of the most successful hobby rip nights in the country, and no athletes were provided to us by
Yeah.
Tops at this point, right?
Yeah.
We're not in the most geographic area where they're hanging out, right? So we've driven 200 plus people on both nights to our shop. The first one we had Owen Pano, who was a first round potential draft pick. The reason he came is he's local, and we support his local league that he played in as a kid. And then on the second night, we reached out to all the leagues and said, "Listen, we're doing a lot of free, cool things here. We want you to have fun at the shop." And they all came out. So they all support who supports them. And that's been our backbone. It's paid off dividends for us.
That's unbelievable. And something that you don't really think about, right? Because I mean, I guess the easy thing to do is just donate to like the cause that might give you the most like viewed as the most accolade, like I don't know, like it's like the easy choice almost. You're like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we'll just give it to the one that everyone else gives it to or whatever." And like the fact that you're very specialized in your approach and specifically making sure that the youth are taken care of. Not
It's
even
a
from,
big
like, a
deal.
business perspective, but
And then
just,
we
like,
grow
just
on it.
just
Like, so
opportunities, right? Like, just making sure that they get more opportunities. I think it's
yeah,
fantastic.
coach, think about this. So this year we've grown on the program. So not only do we sponsor your league, now I'm sending my guys with a table at each opening day ceremony, which is in the next 3 weeks. They'll be at like 15 different opening days, and we're bringing goodie bags. Those goodie bags have cards, bracelets, fun things to get these kids into the hobby and enjoy cards again. And I think it's really good. And I reach out to Tops, Fanatics, Panini, Upper Deck. I press on all the manufacturers to help us because I try to show them the good that we're doing here, and they all see it. And then on top of that, I'm on the board of a charity called 3up3down.org. It's a 501c3 non-for-profit charity, and we raise insane amounts of money. We run a poker event. We're having one this weekend on the 5th. We'll have 250 players, and we net $60,000 after prizes. And the idea is to promote youth sports and kids with developmental disabilities. And we're trying to build a challenger field complex where the kids with developmental disabilities can play because there's not much spots for them to play. And what better than a kid in a wheelchair to have the opportunity to play baseball or be on the field or just be a part of it? And that
Amazing.
costs money that these towns don't have. So we've been working hard. You got to be relevant in the charity space for a lot of years to show you can raise money on your own before you can get the big Cal Ripkins and little leagues to help support you with ulterior funding to build these $1 million complexes. But we're well on our way. It's been amazing, dude. Really fun ride.
That's a fantastic story. I had no idea, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. So talk to me about Piece of the Game. So, like, what's you said the vision is big, like, to just kinda do something that people haven't done before. we talked about the facilities. We've talked about the way that piece of the game and you give back to the community and make sure that the grassroots are taken care of. Like, what are some other aspects there?
Sure. So, I mean, our goal was always multi-unit, right? And a brand. I'm very big into the game used world and the game used baseball and a jersey space. It's kind of one of my passions.
Yeah,
I always
we
loved
went to Louisville and you had to leave. You're
I,
like, I'm
I kind of
going.
left the Gamma event and went on the tour of Churchill Downs and Louisville Slugger. But that's like my passion. I mean, that's why we called the company Piece of the Game. I know it's a little, it's cliche, but that's the whole thing. People want to get as close to the athletes in the game as possible. I think that's why we're in a special time with the Michael Rubins of the world and these guys who have access, because that's what their customers want. They want to get as close to it as they can. And for us with the game used, there's only one, right? There's only one hit. There's only one bat that he used to make the hit. There are all these things. And, with cards, there's copies and there's numbering and all that kind of stuff. The game used is the story, man. It's how the story was created. And we're a big part of that. We pride ourselves on having a game used baseball display here in New York that's probably better than you will find of modern players than in Cooperstown, which is the Baseball Hall of Fame. I mean, we have Otani's one of his early hits. We have one of the biggest Juan Soto game use collections in the world. I mean, so him being on the Yankees now is like
Big
heaven to
deal.
us. It's
Yeah.
amazing. We had a relationship with him since he's 18 years old.
And
So
he's been giving away stuff at like some of those events previously, like to kids. I think he did something with Tops last year around this time.
yes, we did. And the thing for us is bring people in, man, have that experience, have some fun. The store speaks for itself with the big TV screens and the QR code system that nobody has. People are starting to get it now because they're realizing how smart it is. Pretty much a piece of the game, there's no prices on anything. We're QR code based. You use your phone to scan the price and tell you what you're looking at, right? And what we do is we take it a step further. So we have a state of the art facial recognition system here, camera system. So what happens is when you make a purchase, we harvest your data. We have your name, we have everything about you, right? And then I have a footprint of your image of which is your face. I know what you scanned in the store, in the order you scanned it.
Really?
And I build what's called a customer profile, which is not done in the hobby. I mean, retail has never been done this way in the collectible world. With that customer profile, I then know what your likes are and dislikes, and I can target my marketing to you. Like, Coach, you scanned that hockey box Upper Deck Series 2 last time more than once and you haven't bought it. Here's a $10 off coupon to buy that box the next time you come in. And it just shows the personalization, and I get to learn more about you and your family and your likes, and then direct what I'm selling to you based on your likes. And like I said, going back to saving time, people enjoy it, man. It's pretty cool.
That's wild, man. That
Yeah,
is
different.
some that's different. That's different for sure.
Yeah,
So where does collecting start with you? So I mean, obviously game used and baseball probably has a lot like it's like a deeply rooted, but like
yeah.
before piece of the game, what was collecting like?
Yeah, so before a piece of the game, collecting was kind of dark. It was dormant, right? So when I was a kid, I had a collectibles company. I actually went to trade shows as a 15, 16-year-old. Mom dropped me off at the mall. I was passionate and deep with it. It became a little more, became like a mini wholesaler. And as all young kids, lost a lot of money because I was giving grown men loans, right?
Yeah.
And they didn't pay them back. So, kind of got frustrated with it, owed some money. And I said, I got to take a break. Real college started in life. And I kind of went off on my way. Always paid attention to cards in the background, but it was that lost period, right? From 96 to 2014, 15. I'm dating myself. But anyway, so, and then what happened was I just stumbled into live breaks. I'm like, what the hell is this, man? These guys are selling cards online. And like a light bulb went off, man. I was just like, I was right back like I was 15, 16 years old. I had to get involved. And I got involved. My kids started watching these breaks with me. We started buying again. And then we're like, we can do some of this stuff better than others. And then, we created a product with game used baseball. It's called Baseball Authenticated Masterpieces.
Yeah.
It sold out immediately, which was a very high end product, it was awesome. And I'm like, I want more. Like my boys wanted more. We wanted more. So we started getting into the wholesaling, I guess you would call it, of providing liquidity and cards to breakers. and then that evolved into the stores and what we're looking at now, which is a full retail footprint. And again, I owe all of that not to myself, but all to the great people in this hobby. And I'll mention names, the Tom Fishers of the world, the Sean Bennett from Steel City, all these guys. They were very open, and in a hobby that's sometimes very closed and hard to get information. These guys welcomed me with open arms, give me information. They heard what I was telling them, and they kind of guided me in the right way. And that's kind of where we are today.
I love that, man. And I mean, you say that the hobby is open, and do you find that things have kind of shifted since the pandemic, or like the same people still open, or do you think like,
So I think it's how you come across, right? I mean, if you come across with no agenda and just kind of leaving your name on your shirt, and this is who I am, and this is what I'm trying to do, I think people are fairly open and willing to help you. I think when you come across with an agenda and people don't really can't fill you out, it's very hard to get information or know what the hell's going on in this.
yeah,
So I was very forthcoming from the beginning. I was at the industry summits. I was at all these events, Mint, where I met you and everybody else. And I have some of these relationships with these guys from just walking in as a newbie, not knowing anybody, making friend with the Next Gem team and the Wax Dot guys, Al, and all these guys that I still now know and love and I consider good friends. Just walk in and here's my name's Dave. Here's what I'm trying to do, and everybody was willing to help.
I think it's so important that like if you want to grow in this space, especially from like a business perspective, like business to business, I think you absolutely have to be attending these shows. Do you know what I mean? Like these events, I
Absolutely.
think are critical because like that FaceTime with other individuals who are kind of either have had similar struggles that you have or are currently having, and then realizing that you can have a pretty genuine conversation with someone and there's like opportunities for like either person to be like vulnerable and you know what I mean, like actually build a relationship versus the phone call, like the good old handshake deals, man. That's like it's a thing and it's been a thing for fucking centuries. Like, you
No,
know?
you're 100% right. And coach, what it leads to too is these guys all call, and my call Rolodex. They all call every few nights. The same guys. What's going on? How are things looking? How are the numbers? And we throw things off each other, and it's kind of great. I mean, we're a
I
corporate.
know who's calling every night.
You do know those are long phone calls. Some old card company named Skybox. But anyway, those are long phone calls, but they're appreciated, man. And we
Yeah,
go
of
to bat for each other. We're
course.
a corporate sponsor at the national, and the relationships you meet and the people who come up to the booth, it's just legendary. And we've kind of taken that a step further this year. So we do all the regional shows now. So you'll see us at Mohegan Sun, Gillette Stadium. You'll see us with the JPRS group at White Plains. We do the Philly show, Chantilly show, and we kind of have a different angle on it. So not only is it to make acquaintances and present our brand, but two or three of those tables that we rent are not for us. They're for our customers. So our best customers, we invite with us to the show. We show them how to sell the cards they don't want. We show them how to intermingle with other dealers and to grow their love of the hobby. And people think, oh, why would you do that? I'm telling you, it solidifies our relationship with them. The trust level goes way off the charts. Not only are they buying cards from us at the show while they're sitting there, they're making other friends and learning to sell their cards. So it's been a great thing, man. I mean, we're trying to do different stuff to open up people's eyes a little bit.
I think, I mean, part of the magic sauce or the secret sauce is if someone asks you, like, why are you doing that? You're probably doing something right. Because all these people that are like, oh, well, like, what's the point of doing that? Or, that's not very profitable. Or like, it always ends up kind of balancing out. And those people never really get like the benefits of some of these experiences because it's not always dollars and cents, right? I mean, there's a lot of things that they're almost like you can't explain. Like there's like an ROI on giving someone a table. Like how the hell,
No,
like
absolutely.
how are you supposed to put that on a chart like two
It
years
doesn't
from
matter.
now?
It's a
2 years
marketing
from now when the
expense.
guy comes back and spends like, I don't know, 30K in the shop because you gave him a table that cost
And
like
he
what,
and he
50
feels a part
bucks,
of it,
a hundred
coach.
bucks? You know what I mean? Like
Wants to be a part of it.
exactly. And
And
like,
it's
I
a
don't know.
business. It is a business. I mean, we do have mouths and families to feed of all the people who work for us, but that doesn't mean you can't do things the right way. That doesn't mean you can't be transparent. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean you can't steer. We tell guys all the time, you get excited. They all come in here, start ripping, and you're like, oh, wow, we're ripping through a lot of stuff. But at the same point, I say, yo, maybe, if you're chasing that Wemby so hard, maybe why don't you buy it? You know what I mean? You can't just
Yeah.
always take.
Yeah.
I'll leave that up to Rob at Burbank. He always says, we always can't take credit cards. And he's 100% right. You got to show your people how to sell. You got to provide liquidity, and you got to steer them in the right direction as a valued customer that you actually care about. They're dropping, $800 on boxes and go 10 deep. Maybe they should slow down for a little bit and reassess. And you got to be the voice of reason sometimes, and be the friend, not just selling them something.
Well, yeah, and I was just about to say, like, I've talked to many card shops, and they've every single one of them has a story about a customer that they had who just like came in out of the blue and just started dropping like uncomfortable amounts of money on boxes. And
Yeah,
then the people that do that in like a very quick time, and I mean, if they're not
disappear.
kind of coached out of it, they just disappear. So
Yeah,
like that customer might come in and give you like $20,000, but like that person's gone afterwards. And like we don't want that. Like not
yeah.
for the money even, but just the experience. Like what were you didn't get very much from this at all. It's like literally walking into a casino and trying to do that, right?
Oh,
So
exactly. And again, people like casinos. That's why they're in business, right? They
yeah,
want
of
to
course.
win money, but they enjoy going and maybe the social aspect. Or my mom, it's so funny. She doesn't like risk at all, but she loves the casino because
Really?
talks to everybody at the table. She goes and gambles. It's her enjoyment. So for enjoyment level, 100%. But like with anything, there's limits, and you want to be a friend to them and steer them in the right direction. You'll have them forever. I promise you. As long as you steer them in the right direction and you're loyal to them, they'll be loyal to you.
I love that. And I mean, I don't have a lot of card shops on here, so like getting the card shop experience, I think is very important to the listener as well. Because a lot of people are like they think of card shops like, oh, big bad card shop, or like they're markup on prices, or I mean, like everyone's just trying to take out of people's pockets, and I
There's
just
there's so many pieces, coach, that they don't see. It's
of course,
It's like all the products that die that you still take anyway. That I can tell you a lot of hockey products that we've taken over the last 2 years that you can't paper your walls with, but you lost thousands of dollars, and now you need this Connor Bedard phenomenon just to break even. So I get it that people get upset, but we try to take care of the guys who are loyal. If you stand by the other brands and you stand by the stuff that's not so hot because you enjoy it, we'll help you out on the stuff that is hot. So we do that. And for the guys who come in and never bought anything and want Series 2 Upper Deck, I'll give it to you for a better price, but I have 4 other products that you have to take with it at cost.
I mean,
I mean, that's
I
the
mean,
thing collectors don't know.
yeah, I mean I think it's like that's fair, like
Yeah,
and a lot of times people are just like, well, that's not my problem, or like it's
I
like
know.
not, like it's not on me, or and so I just think it's interesting to have like a different perspective on here and like a real perspective. I mean, you're cutting through the fat. Like you've always been no bullshit, right? Like
Pretty
transparency is
much.
what
I
it's
like
all
to tell
about.
you how it is, good or
Yeah.
bad. Sometimes I get myself into trouble because I give away too much information. But listen, knowledge is power, right? And the better I educate my consumers and my friends and collectors, the better my businesses will be, and they trust us more and want to help us. And I feel that way about the hobby community too. Shops sometimes are closed. I'm not. I'm friendly with all of them. I don't see you as my competitor. Yes, you can buy Topps Finest from anybody in the country. But if you like me and my price is competitive, you'll stick with us. And I stand by that. I'll help any shop in this country who needs help with their building or what they're looking to do or how to get in this new technology era that we're in right now.
And again, that's very interesting because it's just not something you hear a lot. Like there's often like competition. Competition is so prevalent in business. I find especially in this like the hobby, like from shop to shop, from area to area. Like you kind of don't want to like step on someone's turf.
No, it's
Um,
crazy. We were out in California at the Upper Deck event, and I'm friendly with everybody, and it's like I see these factions of groups. Oh, can't talk to those guys. They don't like those guys, and I'm like, I understand they've been around forever, but they're all good for the hobby. They all have their attributes that make them special or bad or whatever. Be men, shake it loose, figure it out, and move on and help each other. I mean, I think it's just we're better off that way, and it just becomes a more better experience for all.
yeah, but I'm not even talking just squashing beef. I'm talking like actually even working with them for the betterment of the hobby. Like I mean, that's fucking, that's how it should be. That's, like that.
I mean, listen, if I benefit you or help you or work together, we're going to work somewhere else where I benefit. It just one hand washes the other. It's always been that way, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. If you had to, uh, so Fanatics, the event's coming up. was
Yeah,
it? It's like August. Unofficial, so no
yeah,
one come,
unofficial.
no one come for me in the comment section. Okay, it's Fanatics events coming
I
up.
know nothing, Top, so I'm just having a conversation.
Exactly in August. How do you anticipate that'll go? It's
I
also it's around the same time as the East Coast National. So like
Yeah.
how that's like I mean there's some
Well,
beef there a
I
little
can
bit, no?
comment because I'm going to Alaska after the national with my family, so I'm going to be gone for 18 days. I'm not gonna miss it, but my team will be there. I'm expecting Ruben to wow everybody, right? I mean, you can't be known for the white party and all these events and then not in your own space blow everybody out of the box. So I'm assuming that's what's going to happen. I'm going to assume it's a very personable event with a lot of superstars and athletes. And I have a feeling he's going to make everybody smile and get everybody excited. And listen, I guess that's if someone who plans to be IPOing in the next few years, I'm assuming that's your job and that's his team's job. And I'm assuming we'll all be very excited with a cool, fun event, something different than we're used to. I mean,
Yeah,
that's for sure.
yeah. How do you feel about it being close to like the New York area? And do you feel like obligated to like put on a show as a result of it? Because like they
Well,
might be coming through to the shop, man.
I know it's tough for us because, like I said, but my team will be ready.
Yeah, yeah,
We'll
yeah.
do whatever they ask of us. Like it's again the National is a big event for us, being a normal card store. Moving a booth around, and we're away from the store. For people don't realize it's not just a show. I'm the first one to walk in that building and almost the last one to leave because we break it down and build it by ourselves. There's no team. There's no union guys doing it for us. It's us. So it's my teammates, and we have a fun time with it, but it's a lot of work. We're exhausted after that show, man.
That's
Exhausted.
crazy.
But the New York show
And then
being
and then to do one like 2 weeks later,
I know it's
it's
gonna be listen, I guess man up and see what
yeah,
it's
yes,
about. Have fun with
exactly.
it,
Like
right?
not up or get out, man. That's
At least
like
I don't gotta drive as far. I mean that's I guess the plus with Ruben living in Philly. So
yeah,
it'll
that's
be
true.
New York or Philly or somewhere close, I guess, right?
That's true. Yeah, I gotta figure out my game
Everybody's
plan
welcome
too.
to the shop. We'll have an experience here, man. They can chill out, have fun, open wax, drink beer, whatever.
You heard it here first. Party at a piece of the game.
Absolutely. On me, fully.
I love that. If I'm gonna give you an opportunity to absolutely just shamelessly plug something, man.
Sure.
Whether that's your shop, whether that's a friend's shop, maybe that the event that's coming up this week. Although by the time this debuts, it might not hit. But what about something upcoming that people can get behind?
I mean, what I suggest everybody get behind is not Piece of the Game or my shop or my friends. The Skyboxes of the world, the Blue Breaks, there's lots of them. The list is very long and deep, right? But give back to your community. That's what's important to me, and I think that's where we all, as a sector, can make an insane difference. I don't even like soccer, but I give back to soccer leagues because I know it matters to them. Basketball, hockey. There's so many avenues, girl sports, boys sports. Give back to your local rec league because I think that's the area that's underserved and not hitting like it used to be because it's where parents can actually afford to do something for their kids and keep them busy for 8 weeks at a time. So that would be my advice. My shout out is to go do something for your local leagues, find out who they are, support them, fly your banner, and I promise you wholeheartedly, they will support you and your business. And like you both will get a smile out of that. And that's at the end of the day, all that matters, right?
I love that, man. Dave, I want to thank you so much for jumping on here. Team,
Yeah,
if you haven't
appreciate it.
already, please go follow Piece of the Game, not just for what they're doing in the sports card space, but also what they're doing just in their community. And I mean, you heard Dave this whole time. So, team, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of the Cardboard Coach. Dave, thanks again, brother.
Appreciate you for having me, kid. Love it.
Of course. Uh, take care, everybody. Coach Co and Dave are out of here. Peace.